We must separate, even if it means that I have nowhere to go. For the good of all of humanity, to free ourselves from the clutches of the international Jew, we must separate. To free ourselves from the globalists, and to ensure that every nation fetches fair price for their goods, for their natural resources. They must return to their roots and their diets. What do you see in America? African Americans with high blood pressure, heart disease, other problems related to obesity, disproportionately suffering from stress, the environment, the diet. We are facing oppression, and our own kind, more often than not, sells us out and conforms to the philosophies of spiritual bottom feeders. We must separate so that we can do what is good for us as a people without being contaminated physically, spiritually, mentally, by secret societies, unscrupulous politicians, and controlled so-called revolutionaries. They wish to tell us that which is good for us is bad, and that which is bad is good. They wish to use psychiatry on us when we have the natural emotional response. Is it a coincidence that I am the top martial artist and I am the most outraged? Because being a warrior, especially a great one, means that you will be outraged. Adherence to morality and truth. We must focus, be efficient, and believe in ourselves. So many of you are dependent on their system. One faction of the whites and the Jews gives you your social welfare system, and the other faction holds it against you. And what is the overall effect? They look down on you and don't appreciate your pain and struggle and cry about the trouble that they have set the stage for and guided every step of the way. How do you expect to free yourselves from the oppression of the white establishment and the international Jew if you are still in his prison, speaking his language, eating his food? You have to free yourselves from the prison. Separate yourselves from the prison. Defend the food, the land, and the people of an all-black nation led by uncontrolled opposition. And at that point, it would be opposition to evil and evil philosophies, because we would have freed ourselves from their direct control. We need to advance our technologies of our nation. We need to adhere to sacred morality within our own nation. They are keeping their enemies close and in bondage, and you are their enemy. And anyone who accepts their philosophy and is a social controller for them is also the enemy. That means the most attractive women within our race are sleeping with the enemy, the Uncle Tom motherfuckers. You have to free yourselves. And even now, I'm expecting a phone call from those who share philosophies with the enemy, telling me, have you taken your medicine? Because they want to drug the political dissident out of me, the black militant out of me. Just like that boy, that 11-year-old boy that I made a video about, who was recommended for mental health screening for drawing a picture of racists hanging a black man. No matter how you slice it, we must free ourselves from their oppression and control. What is slavery but control? How can you honestly say that you're not a slave when you are under their control? They are the governing class. What's the difference between the slave master class and the governing class? And having a few Uncle Toms with them does not change that fact. Countless liberals and weak-minded, weak-hearted weaklings say, oh, when you start yelling, it turns me off. Did the German people say that to Adolf Hitler? Did the black Christians say that to Martin Luther King? Did the Muslims say that to Malcolm X? Did the black community in Oakland say that to the Black Panthers? If my yelling turns you off, you are a coward. Perhaps you should stick to cartoons and PG-13 movies, you fucking pussy. I want you to compare my angry speech in this video to the video I uploaded before this video. It is quite clear, even to the most casual and uninformed viewer, that the following clips are superior to the video before, where I'm stumbling on my words and losing my train of thought because my brain is not properly stimulated because of the covert drugs. And I happen to be putting an emphasis on making a calm presentation. Had I not, it would have come out better, even on drugs. Something I shouldn't have to explain to anyone, because I should have sovereignty over my own mind and body. I shouldn't have to justify to the enemy why I don't need his eugenic pills. The international Jew and the white establishment are like psychiatric drugs that keep the mind and the collective consciousness of the black people from functioning correctly. It is with our passion and our determination that we will persevere, preserve our traditions, and free our spirits from anti-African philosophies. The African people is in its language, its cultures. Its traditions. Hebrew is an Afro-Asiatic dialect that carries the African tradition with it. And those enemies of Africa who do not understand that the man is the soul and spirit of Africa, and the woman helps maintain and continue its masculine strength. They wish to stop us. The white establishment is your obvious enemy. You couldn't miss it. You couldn't miss them. But the Jew is a chameleon who pretends he is on your side so that you miss it, so that you miss him. He seeks to destroy your culture and replace it with an artificial one that benefits him and the worst criminals who side with him. Jews are wolves in sheep's clothing, the children of Satan. Not all of them, but as a group, when you look at what they are doing, who they are doing it to, and why. We must free ourselves from Eurocentric satanic secret societies, from Talmudic secret societies. Render unto the white man that which is his. Give to the Jew that which is his, and no, I do not mean Israel. These people want that which is yours, and you are handing it over to them and their allies, who are their representatives, whose perks include your women and your resources. We Africans are innately, inherently spiritual people. People of God. Horus Chukwu. Warrior pharaohs. A warrior people. Who historically reject everything that goes against our nature, including lifestyles and philosophies. Stop following sellouts. Stop helping the enemy. Identify your enemy and his qualities, and don't let them twist what those qualities are. Don't let them confuse you about what it means to be selfish, shallow, conformist, cowardly, evil, materialistic, or to be a liar. Never forget, Satanists, criminals, the worst criminals, LGBT philosophies, feminism, atheism, eugenics, racism. These things are not African. Just because the other races are doing something to destroy us, and we must separate to protect ourselves and the future generations of black people, doesn't mean that we are racist. It means that we love our race. We must secure our own land. It is not fair for us to secure land in Africa because we are African Americans. We need our own state here in America. We have never been welcome or accepted in America, even as slaves who on record were slaves, self-confessed slaves. They used us, abused us, scoffed at us, called us uppity, and they never stopped putting us beneath them in their minds and ours. My story is one of many. Great black people who are talented were denied their rightful place because of racists who pretend that they are not, because of eugenicists who pretend that they are not, because of selfish scum who pretend that they are not. They would say that I'm selfish for wanting my rightful place, which would allow me to free my people, even after my death. Wouldn't even be alive to quote unquote enjoy it. But these soulless sellouts would say that I'm selfish. One of many examples how these hypocrites with their double standards would seek to twist the very definitions and true meaning of things. We must free ourselves, or we don't love ourselves. We must free ourselves, or we are not giving ourselves a fair chance. We can still trade with other races. We can still visit them, but we must separate from them. Even if it means that I have nowhere to go. You must see black people. You must understand. You must stop trying to pretend that you know how someone feels when you are controlled opposition. You must expose what the New World Order is doing as a group. Stop thinking about yourselves and your comfy jobs. How you have the affection of conditioned, shallow women. Stop thinking about what is best for you and start thinking about what is right. These are cowards and cheaters who every day cheat the top martial artist out of his rightful position in society because he is uncontrolled and doing what is in black people's best interest. And any of you who help them are the enemy. And any of you who play stupid or pretend that I'm crazy or lying are the enemy. Make no mistake. From now on, you should mark white or Jewish on any form that you are given that asks you your race, because you are the enemy.